the reason why I want to make everyone use GitHub is because GitHub has a really easy way to host your websites, your web pages, so that you could just share a link with me and I could just click on the link and see your website or your project. So, but the purpose of GitHub is for people working on a project to be able to collaborate easily, because what it lets you do is upload your project on github.com. And it's not just a regular project, it's a Git project. And Git is a version control system. So um, there's a little command you can run in any directory. Would you open the terminal, you run git init, and basically that turns your project into a Git project. And what that means is this Git system, version control system, is going to now start tracking changes in your project. So it's going to check every time you upload a file or change a file, create a new file, delete a file. It's going to record that. And it has a really efficient way of recording everything. So you can make changes and then basically take a snapshot of your project at any point, and Git remembers it. So in case you I don't know, you start working on a new feature and then something gets messed up and you need to revert back, go back a few steps to how your project was a little bit earlier when it was working fine, you can easily do that. You can also test new features by branching off. So it has things called branches. So you have like a main branch that your main project is on. Basically, like if you're gonna develop an app and release it on the App Store or something, um, you would have a main branch that all the extra branches that you create after testing will merge into, and then that main branch is the one that gets released to the public. Okay, but it lets you branch off so that um, different people working on the project can all test their own new features, and then when the new feature passes all the tests, then they can merge it into the main branch and it becomes part of the official project. So version control system, and GitHub is just a place to upload um, your project, and other people can download it and upload to it and update it. So it's like a centralized place for everyone working on the project to get updates. Um, yeah, so you don't have to like email someone your project or see what changes they made and try to catch up. It's just you run a command, update your trunk or branch, and you get the latest changes, and you could see what other people added. And there's a whole like system for making sure like you don't have conflicts, because you might change the same file. So it's a really useful tool. But for us, we're just gonna take advantage of that hosting thing that I mentioned, GitHub Pages. So you could just share links with me. You could also, use it on your own projects. If you're creating something, why not make it a Git project? It's just there's gonna be some terminal commands you need to learn. But hopefully this video kind of gives you a better idea of what I'm trying to explain. It's kind of old, but uh, doesn't matter. It should just go over the fundamentals of it. Okay, so maybe I'll stop recording this part because I don't know, YouTube doesn't like when you record other YouTube videos. So it's called What is GitHub, What is Git, and How to Use It. GitHub tutorial for beginners from Simply Learn. That's what we're gonna watch. So this is my one of my GitHubs. Again, I don't use it at work, so most of this is just random projects or teaching. So that's why you see some LAPC stuff in here. But each of these is a repository, so pretty much every project has its own repository. And yeah, you create a repository by clicking new. You give it a name, like test repo, and then you create a new one. And then you just upload it. 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 It says test is not available because I already have one here called test. What did I use it for? Nothing. It's empty at the moment. So I could probably just delete this one. I'll just kind of have to get used to the user interface. So if I go to this one, we can see there's code, issues, pull request, action, project, wiki, security, and settings. I'm just gonna go to settings and then scroll all the way down to the danger zone and just delete this. And it makes you type in the name to confirm it. Okay, so still have 5 repositories. One of them is the ball bounce, which we worked on, which you will work on if you're in 154, probably one of the last projects, unless I skip it this time. And for CGD, web design, HTML, and CSS class, we have some repositories for some of the assignments. For example, this one, you can see when I click on the repository, it's just got a bunch of files in there, or folders. Assignment 1, 2, 3, CSS, images, index.html. And then if I click on settings and go to there's pages, there it is, pages. And you can see here it says your site is live at here. And this is what I want to enable for you guys, so we could do this. So if anyone goes to this link, this URL, you'll be able to see, for example, these are assignments from CGD 200. And I think today we'll do something similar to this one, but we'll use JavaScript to add these movies or TV shows. See, right now they're static. It's just we created a web page. We manually entered all the movies, TV shows, and you can't. There's no way to update it or anything. But I'm thinking of making a project today where we could fill out a form, type in the name of a show or movie, and then a URL for an image and a description, and then populate a list like this. Let's see, what was the other one? Let's go back to my repos. Looks like these are the same repo. 1, 2, 3, 4 CSS images. 1, 2, 3 styles index. Okay, a little bit different. Let me see what this one is. Again, I'll go to settings, pages, and then I can find my link here. My site is live here. This one's a little bit different. It's just the assignments for that session were hosted here. Okay, so let me look at the other one. We have an introduction to Git. I don't know if I hosted this one. Let's check settings, pages. Yeah, it looks like I didn't deploy this one. Although I could. So let me show you how you would deploy it. This is a Git project that I didn't take advantage of pages yet. So I'll click pages. See here it says deploy from a branch. Remember I said there's branches in Git projects. So right now if I go to code, see I have a master branch. View all branches. I just have one master branch. That's it. I didn't really create branches because it's just an example. But the master branch or main branch is the one that's um, the most important one. That's the one that will get released when your project is complete. So whenever you go to pages and it says here build and deployment for the source, deploy from a branch, you have to pick a branch down here where it says branch, and I only have one, so I'll choose that master branch. And then I think this is for like, I guess you could select a folder, which folder to uh, host, because there's a few directories here. I mean, it's master branch, and then I've got some folders here. So I think that lets you choose a folder to be specific, but I'm not sure. I haven't tested picking anything other than root. So I'll just save that. And it says here now your GitHub pages site is currently being built from the master branch. So at first nothing's gonna look like it's happening, but if you refresh, give it a few minutes, it still says your GitHub pages site is currently being built. But eventually, and it shouldn't take too long, like a minute max. There it is. It says your site is live at there, and then I can click on it, and now I could see this introduction to Git and GitHub. Okay, so like I mentioned, Git is a distributed version control system, helps keep track of project changes and helps with collaboration. And then it's gonna be a lot of terminal commands, and these are some of the common terminal commands for your Git projects. I'll do a quick, easy example, and this I guess is for both classes. Um, I'm gonna start working from my documents here because my desktop is actually connected to OneDrive for some reason. I don't know how to. I haven't bothered actually trying to disconnect it. But let's go here, and I'm just gonna create a new folder. Oops, cancel. New folder. Sample Git project. And let's open Visual Studio Code here. So if you installed Visual Studio Code, you may have installed it with the option to open VS Code here. If you did, you can just open it by right-clicking and open VS Code here. I don't have that, but there's also another option where basically allows you to add code to your environment variables or whatever, so that code basically means VS Code, and typing code space period opens VS Code for you in that location. But I would have to go through the installation process again to see exactly what that was and how to do it. So for now, if you don't have that, you can just do open folder and navigate to your folder and open it that way. Same thing, just a little bit longer. Okay, so file, open folder. We want to go to 155, 154, sample, git project. Okay, I'm just gonna create an index.html here. I'm also gonna create a CSS folder, and a JavaScript folder. Maybe an images folder too. So we got CSS, images, JavaScript. They're all empty right now, but we also have this index.html, which is also empty. Gonna do an exclamation tab, just get our basic HTML. But how do we make this a Git project? I could have done it before I added any of these, just an empty directory or a directory that already has stuff in it. You can go to the terminal and then you can type git init. It's kind of like well, if you're in 155, we did npm init to make a node project. Well, we could do git init, create a git project. You could do a git project and a node project, which is common. So git init, I think there might be a way to do it from here too, because we have a source control tab in VS Code. This is for working with GitHub. You can see here published to GitHub initialize repository. It says the folder currently open doesn't have a Git repository. You can initialize a repository which will enable source control features powered by Git. If I click initialize repository, it's gonna do the same thing as git init. And we can kind of test it out. I'm gonna try let's do a couple of these. Say file, open folder. Let me create a new sample git-2. Just gonna create that. I'll get back to it in a second. But let's do one with npm init. Oh, sorry, I did npm init accidentally. This was for node projects. Just press enter, enter, enter. Okay, ignore that. I initialized the node project. That's not what I meant to do. But we'll leave that. If you're in 155, that's something we'll be doing with our Git projects. If you're in 154, don't worry about what that one is. I'm gonna do git init instead of that last command. So git init, and doesn't look like anything changed, but there's actually a new hidden folder that got added in there, and it's this one right here. This empty, well, it's not empty, it's a hidden folder with, it's just named .git. So that's how you know your project is a Git project, if it has that .git folder. And the package.json is if you have a node project, which again, that's for 155. If you're initializing a node project, it's different than the Git project. And then let me go to sample git2, and in this one, let's open VS Code in this one as well. This one I'll leave it empty, and I'll do it from here this time. Initialize repository. Okay, let's see if anything changed. Yeah, and as you can see, we now have that same empty Git folder. So whether you do git init or click on that button and then initialize from there, it'll do the same thing. Okay. What are we looking at here? Why do I have two of these? Oh, okay, we'll get back to this later. So that's the most basic git command you should learn. Git init to initialize a Git repository. I think I mentioned it here. Git init, initialize a Git repository, makes current project a Git project. Oh, sorry. one important thing, if you try this right now, it's not going to work. Git is also something you need to install. So that Git version control thing that I mentioned, version control system, Git is separate from GitHub. Git is the version control system, and GitHub is your remote repository to upload your Git projects to. Okay. So to initialize Git, you first have to install Git. So let's go to not GitHub, but git scm.com. So we have to go here first. Git is a free and open source distributed version control system designed to handle everything from small to very large projects with speed and efficiency. Yeah, you just need to download it now. So I already have it downloaded, so I'm not going to download it again. Maybe actually I'll download it just so we could look at the steps. Um, let's see. For downloads, it's going to ask you which version you want to download. We can get the 64-bit Git for Windows set up. There's a portable version, but just get the 64-bit Git for Windows or Mac or whichever system you have. Okay, and now I'm gonna install it. I clicked on it, so now we're gonna go through the installation process. Say yes. Blah blah blah. Next. Okay, let's see the options. Okay, additional icons on desktop, Windows Explorer, open Git Bash here, open Git UI here. So these two options are if you want to be able to like right click a project and say open Git Bash here, open Git GUI here. I never used the GUI, but this is what that looks like. It's just instead of using the terminal, you could just click create new repository, clone or open. It's a graphical user interface for Git. So if you want to enable those two options, that's where those are. Don't know what that is. Associate Git configuration files with default text editor. Associate sh files to be run with bash. So this will also install bash, which is the type of, it's just a flavor of terminals. This is bash. This is PowerShell. This is command prompt. I mean, they're all just terminals. Very similar. Some commands might be a little bit different, but overall, you could probably use either of them. But when you install Git, you also get Git Bash. Okay, just another flavor of terminal. And what is this new scalar? Git add to manage large scale repositories. I don't know what that is, but you can leave it pretty much the default and then just click next. Use Visual Studio Code as Git's default editor. Sure, we're using Visual Studio Code, so why not? Just the name of initial branch in new repositories. What would you like Git to name the initial branch after Git init? So, I mean, the initial branch is called master. Let Git use default branch name, currently master for the initial branch in newly created repositories. The Git project in turn intends to change this default to a more inclusive. just some stupid thing here about, I don't know, I guess the word master is offensive to people, so I don't know. So they want to change it to main from master. It's ridiculous. But besides that, override the default branch name. You could also just pick your own main branch name instead of master or main. You could pick whatever else you want. I'll just let that be let Git decide. Adjusting your path environments. Use Git from Git bash only. Most cautious choice as your path will not be modified. Git from the command line, also from third-party software. This is recommended, so let's go with the recommended. It says this option adds only some minimal Git wrappers to your path to avoid cluttering your environment. Optional Unix tools. Blah blah blah. Just it's recommended, so go with that one. What secure shell client would you like Git to use? This is, again, it's, we don't have to worry about it. SSH is a way to basically connect to another computer. We'll just go with bundled. Just next on that one. Check out Windows style, commit Unix style. Ignore that. Terminal emulator to use. This one you could use either. I forgot why, but I think I've had trouble with Windows default console before, but it's gonna affect maybe the look of your terminal, I think, but choose either one. Not important. So most of these you could just click next, next, next. Actually, all of them. You don't have to really look at these. Okay. Git pull is a command that we use. I didn't really describe what it does here, but basically pulls the latest changes from the remote uh, server or remote repository. So you know how you upload everything to GitHub? Other people also work on the same project. They might make changes and they'll push those changes to GitHub. Well, if you want to be up to date, you have to pull those changes. So that's what git pull does. And then there's, I guess, different behaviors. Fast forward the current branch to the fetched branch when possible. Otherwise, create a merge commit. Rebase current branch onto the fetched branch. There are no local commits. This is equivalent to fast forward. Only fast forward. I don't know. Just leave it on the default. Choose a credential helper. Which credential helper should be configured? Git credential manager. I guess just go with that. I think that's for logging into Git, because when you do use Git, who you're logged in as matters, because Git repositories can be private or public, and you know not everyone is allowed to mess with your Git repository and do pushes and pulls to it. So you have to be logged in, and I guess this has to do with the way you log in. Like when you try to do a push or pull or something, it might ask you to log in first, and I guess this is related to that. Enable file system caching. Sure. And it's telling me to close bash because I have it open. Anyways, I'm not actually going to click install, so I'll click cancel, but you can pretty much just go through the default installation. Okay, so once you have Git installed like that from git scm, Yeah, the link is in the chat. So download that, and then you'll be able to run git init. Before you run git init, you might want to do git dash dash version to see which version you have or if it's actually installed. Looks like I've got 2.49. That's the latest one. You can type git dash dash version in any terminal and it should work. So this is right now git bash, but I could do it in command prompt. Git dash dash version. It shows me there. But I like to use git bash just because, I don't know, it's got color in it. Oh, if you did that one option that I mentioned during the installation, it was asking like which terminal to use or something. I think if you did one or the other, it might not be. It might not look exactly like this. Okay, let me give you guys like a couple minutes to install Git if you haven't already. I'm gonna pause this. Okay, assuming you have Git installed already and you can run Git init or Git dash dash version just to confirm that you have it installed. You can now open any project, even an existing project that you had. Like, for example, why don't we go open the other project we're working on? The 154 intro project, for example. Just a simple thing where I want you to use variables. Let me open this VS Code. Okay, so now I'm gonna go here. And actually, before I do anything here, why don't we go back to GitHub for a second? GitHub.com. I think I already signed in here, right? Okay, yeah. So here's my GitHub assignment 3. Why do I keep coming here to one of the student projects? Okay, so I'm in GitHub and I'm going to create a new repository. I deleted the old test repository, so I'm just going to make a new one. Actually, let me make a WST154 assignment 1. Actually, even better, let me do WST 155 or 154. Just a repository for the whole, all our projects in 154. WST, what is it? April or March? Did we start this in March? No, we started in April. April 2025, WST 154. Well, I'll do a separate one for 155, I guess. Okay, so here we can choose if we want the repository to be public or private. We need it to be public if we're gonna do the whole GitHub Pages thing where you could share a link to your project. So I have to keep it public. Initialize this repository with a README. README is usually necessary because GitHub has millions of projects. I'm assuming millions, and a lot of them need a README. So people that want to download or clone your repository, they can look at the README to see how to use the project or how it works. So you could have it create a README for you or don't. I'm just gonna leave it unchecked because I want to keep this as default as possible. You don't even need to add a description. The only thing is you need a repository name, make sure it's public, and then you could ignore this too. Oops. Choose a license, add a git ignore. Git ignore is gonna be important if you're in 155. You know how we installed Express, and it came with all these packages. There was like a node packages folder. Let me just remind you. In 155, when we were doing, oh, I guess I deleted that project. Anyways, there was a packages folder, and it was really big folder. Uh, when you're uploading to your Git repository, you don't want to upload like those unnecessary files, even though you need them for the project, because you can just run npm install and then it'll look at the package.json and see what dependencies you have and it'll install them. There's no need to upload the actual downloaded packages themselves. That would just waste space. So that's what the git ignore file is for. Basically, in that you would list any files or directories that when you do a push, it won't get pushed to the repository. You don't want to put every single thing. There's also sometimes you have like username, password, login information in some files. You don't want to upload those. So git ignore allows you to add a list of files to ignore. You could add it yourself. You just have to create a file called .gitignore. So um, choose which files not to track from a list of templates. Or I guess depending on what you are working on, I guess. I don't know. It has like a default list of stuff to ignore that you can choose here. I don't think we have anything for our case though. I mean, yeah, we're not really using any of these specific libraries or um, templates or frameworks, so we could just ignore that. License tells others what they can and can't do with your code. We don't need to worry about that. It's just a school project, so we don't care. I commonly see MIT license though. I don't know what the MIT license actually says, but I always see that one. Anyways, just choose none for that, and yeah, just public and name. That's all we need to worry about. I'm gonna create. Cool. And then this is why I said, let me go back to GitHub for a second. Because when you do create a repository, here it's going to give you a list of instructions. So if you're going to create a new repository, you can do git init. It'll just tell you git init, git add, readme.md. Wait, this is if you have a readme.md, you could git add. We skipped the first line. Echo hashtag WST154 and then double arrow readme.md. This will basically create a readme file, and then inside the readme file it'll write WST154, and the hashtag just means, I think this is some, what is it called, markdown file. It's going to create a MD file which is markdown. It's just a a file that's got a way to format things in it. It's like the hashtag, I think, will make this a title or bold. I forgot exactly what the hashtag does, but it's just gonna create a file and gonna put this inside the file. You could try, I mean, why not? Let us play around with the terminal a little bit. So in any project, now I'm in our intro project for 154. But let's say I want to create a new file here. I could say echo hello world, and then if I do double double arrow, and then type um, uh, test.txt, press enter. You can see here it created a test.txt file, and then it put hello world inside. Let me delete that. So echo just says something in the terminal. Let me try to zoom in on my terminal. I'll make a new terminal just to clear that one. So echo hello, just gonna say hello. Echo hello without the quotes. It works too. Don't need the quotes actually. Clear will clear terminal. Echo just says something. It just outputs whatever you typed in. Echo blah blah. Okay, but when you do echo and then you do blah blah blah, and you do double arrows, and then you type in a file name, like we'll do, I don't know, I'll just type blah blah dot, let's do a markdown file this time, md. Let me check here. We got a blah blah dot md file, so it's a markdown file this time instead of a regular text file. And let's see what the hashtag does, because in here it wants us to put a hashtag in front of it, and I guess that just makes the text bold or something. Open preview. This is what it would look like. By the way, I'm not sure if I had to install an extension to be able to view markdown files like this. A markdown file, let's see, am I using select language mode markdown? Markdown. I don't think I have a special markdown plugin. So I think by default VS Code should be able to let you preview markdown files by right clicking on it and saying open preview. This is the code. This is what it looks like. Let me write some regular text here. Regular text. Save that. Now you can see the difference between having a hashtag in front of the text and not having a hashtag in front of it. It's gonna be bigger text. It's just formatted differently. We do like double hashtag too. That makes it bold. This is now double hashtag, single hashtag, plain text. The different formats. It also puts a line, it looks like. There's other things you can add in front of these, like, what if I put a period? No, period doesn't do anything. An arrow, no. Hashtag, $sign. There's probably, let's go here, markdown basics. Yeah, if you want a quick overview of what you could do in markdown. There we go. Hashtag is heading level 1, double hashtag is heading level 2, and it goes all the way to heading level 6 with the hashtags. And 1 is the biggest. It's kind of like H1 through H6 in HTML. There you go, H1. And that's exactly what it is. Alternatively, you can do add any number of equal sign characters for level 1 or minus characters for level 2. So if you do this one line below, you could also make it a heading level 1 or 2. It says you should also put blank lines before and after heading for compatibility. Paragraphs. It's a regular paragraph. You don't have to do anything special. Line breaks. Just nothing special. Just press enter, I guess. Two or more spaces. Okay. If you surround a word or sentence or words with a double asterisk, you'll make it bold. You could also do underscore underscore. And single asterisk will italicize the text. Anyway, Markdown's this whole formatting thing. So by default, I think VS Code supports it. So you should be able to create a .md file and then use the hashtags and stuff to style it. But it's just for readmes basically. So just showing you so you know there's nothing special really about the hashtag other than it makes WST154 a heading level 1. The double arrow outputs that into a file called readme.md. Okay, then you do git init, which you initializes your directory as a git project, adds that empty .git folder in there. Sorry, not empty, but hidden. And then git add readme.md basically means we're adding readme.md to the list of files that needs to be tracked and version controlled. Otherwise, it'll be ignored. It won't get saved in your commits, which is what comes next. Git commit. This is when you actually save your project. Take a snapshot of it. So the -m is the message that you have to add along with every commit. Every time you do a snapshot, there should be a little message describing what changed. Why did you save it at that point? And this is our first commit, so that's why it says -m first commit. And then git branch -m main. I believe this will rename your master branch to main instead of master. And then again, you could skip that. Git remote add origin adds this repository as the remote Git location. So later when we're doing the pushing and pulling, our project will basically be uploaded from our local computer to here. Now here specifically, you'll see the project files. And then git push -u origin main, basically saying push the origin main. Origin is just a nickname for this remote repository. So we're pushing to origin, the main branch, or master if you didn't go through the renaming part. And then the -u just means it's just like a shortcut so that in the future, if you want to do a push again in this project, you don't have to say push origin main. You could just say git push. And that's all the u does. It's like saves this as where you're gonna be pushing it to. Okay. So that's one of the options here. The other option, it says or push an existing repository from the command line. And you can see this is basically all of this minus the first few steps. It's git add remote origin. We're doing this part again, renaming the branch and pushing. So yeah, basically, I really don't know why they insist on changing the name from master to main. That's really annoying extra step that they keep adding. Just do git remote add origin and git push -u origin master, or do this exactly as it says. So we haven't initialized a git project here yet, right? I was about to do git init. Wait, let me double check. I think I did. Open reveal in file explorer. Yeah, it's not a git project yet. If it was, it would have had that .git folder in here. My settings are set to view show hidden files, show hidden items. So even though it's a hidden folder, I would still see it, and it's not there. You could also check if you do ls lists all the files in the current directory. We've got blah blah md, got the css folder, we got intro.html, we got the js folder. If we had a hidden folder, it wouldn't show if we did ls, but if we did ls-a, then even the hidden folders would show. And you can still see that there's no .git folder in here. So we haven't initialized the Git project. Another way you can tell I haven't done it yet is if I click here, source control, there's the option to initialize repository. And it tells you the current folder doesn't have a Git repository. So again, click initialize or do git init, or go through the steps mentioned here. Now if we already did have a git project, we already did git init, we already did all that. I mean, that's why basically this is the same command minus the first part. Okay, so just gonna do git init. Now it's a git project. Now it's, instead of asking me to initialize a git project, this version control button is now asking me if I want to commit. There's a commit button there now. We can't commit yet. Before you commit, you have to add the files that you want to commit. So the project files that are going to get saved. And then there's also changes here. So since we just initialized it, all of these are seen as changes. Got the markdown file and all the other files. I'm gonna discard changes on the blah blah blah. That's basically gonna delete it. And I'm just gonna commit this. You could either type in your message here, or actually, sorry, we can't commit yet. First, we need to click the plus sign, stage all changes, or git add, and you could type in the names individually, like intro.html, styles.css, story.js, um, oh, into, I meant intro, styles.css did not match any files. Why is it saying that? Styles. Oh, cause I'm looking at this, assuming these are just all there, not in any folders, but styles.css is in the CSS folder. Anyway, here's an easy way. I don't usually type in all the files individually. Just do git add and then a period, and that basically will add everything in the current directory. So everything that's in WST154 intro, in all of these, will get added. And by getting added, that means they're ready to be committed. Okay. So now it says staged changes. Staged means they're ready to be saved. And then under changes, there's nothing. So there's nothing that's been changed that's not already staged. That part's empty. These are staged. So now if I do git commit, we can do git commit -m first commit, or we could type first commit and do it here. It's both gonna do the same thing. Okay, we committed, so that means we saved our project at this point. Next thing would be to publish the branch, and that's where you push it, or yeah, basically push it to GitHub. But we haven't done the next step here, which is git remote add origin. I'll do that next, so it knows where to push it. If I do publish branch, it's gonna, I don't know where it's gonna push it. So I think there was a command, I didn't include it here, but if you want to check what your origin is, git remote dash dash u or something. No, it's not that. Git remote get URL. Let's do that. Git remote get dash URL. See, I'm wondering if, since I've used Git on this computer, if it saved the last origin I had. But I don't think so. I think, yeah, I mean, if you try git push, it's not gonna know where to push it. No configured push destination. So yeah, it doesn't actually have an origin yet. Okay, but I still want to know what the command was to check um, the remote repository. So git remote dash v. Okay, so it's just git remote dash v. And yeah, nothing shows because we don't have a remote. So let's just set the remote to this one here. And this URL you could also get from up here. So this is my repository's URL. It's going to be my username slash the name of the repository on GitHub. And that's the same exact link right there. So I'll just copy that and say it's a little bit slow. Let me restart that. Git remote add origin and then paste in my repository's origin URL. Press enter. Now if we do git remote dash v, we can see there's the origin. So that's where I'll be pushing and fetching from. Okay, it's 8:15. I went a little bit past break time, so why don't we take a break? In the meantime, or maybe after the break, you can try setting up your Git repository and following these commands. Alright, let's continue then. So I've already set the remote origin by doing git remote add origin and then the URL to my repository. I did git remote dash v just to confirm that that's set. So now all that's left to do, since we already did the git add, we already did the git commit, we have a first commit here. We could click here actually and basically shows us what we added. So we're starting from nothing. We added everything. We could now do git push, and then remember the dash u is just to save this setting as the future git push command, so I don't have to type origin main again or master. I think it's, yeah, it should be master. So git push dash u origin master, and it should be master because that's what it's called here. Yours might be main if you did the renaming stuff, but go ahead and do git push dash u origin master. See what happens. Now this will either work or fail depending on if I'm logged in as the correct GitHub user, because we're trying to push to my LAPC GitHub. Let's see if it works. Nope, see, permission to David LAPC was denied to Smarty Dave. So I'm logged in as a different GitHub account, so it didn't let me do it. Well, all I need to do is now log out of Smarty Davy. So to do that, let's see. I think I have to go into my Windows credentials and delete the login for this. Normally, I think you would be able to just like run a command to sign out. But yeah, I don't think there's git config dash dash global unset credential. I've never tried this method. Let me see if this works. Git config dash dash global dash dash unset user dot name. Probably have to also do user dot email and credential helper. Let's see if I do push origin. Yeah, I'm still denied, so let's also do onset user dot email. We're still denied, so let's also do onset credential dot helper. Now let's try git push origin master. Okay, it still didn't work. Okay, that method didn't work. I thought I would be I found a quick way to do it. But here's what I have to do. I have to go into my Windows credential manager and then find git over here. See, I'm logged in as username Smarty Davy here. So I have to just remove that. You have to go to your Windows credentials, remove, just find git and remove that. Now I should be able to log in as David LAPC. So git push -u origin master. And yeah, see, now it's asking me to sign in. Sign in with my browser. And then this opens up, and then I just have to sign in with the LAPC account. Okay, once it says authentication succeeded, it says here git push info, please complete authentication enumerating objects. Done. So this is the part where it's actually pushing. Enumerating objects, done. Counting objects. I don't know where it's getting 7 from. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anyway, total 7 to blah blah blah. New branch master branch master set up to track origin master. Let's now go to GitHub, and if I refresh this page, since I've already done these steps and uploaded, I pushed, so I should have uploaded my files here. If I refresh it, and we could see CSS, JS, intro.html. So all the stuff got pushed into GitHub. I could add a readme here if I click add readme. Hashtag to make it a H1. WST154. Commit changes. So even adding the readme is a change to the project. So even here you have to do commits and you have to add a commit message. And then you could commit directly to the master branch, or you could create a new branch for this commit and start a pull request. So other times when you're making big changes, you might need to create a new branch to first test the changes out, and then you do a pull request, and then it has to be accepted. I guess the pull request has to be reviewed, and once it's accepted, you can then merge the changes from that new branch into the master branch. But we're not doing all that. I'm just going to do commit directly to master branch. So this is sort of like someone on another computer made a change in my Git project. They added a README file, which I don't have here. So since this doesn't have a README and the other one does, I can do git pull, and you see it brought the README. And this is how Git projects are useful. You make changes, you push them to the remote repository. Someone else working on the project makes changes, pushes them. You do a pull every now and then to make sure you have the latest files. Make sense? So I think for 155, I'll do some assignments where we'll need to um, use git commands like this. If you're in 154, we're mainly just gonna be doing a git push, pushing our files up to GitHub, but you can also directly upload them. If you create your Git repository, you don't even need to install Git and all that. All you have to do is go to GitHub, sign up, and then create a new repository. I'll do another one as an example. Test2, test out, getting into details. Everything's the same. Create repository. But this time the difference is I'm just gonna upload files here. Say it says get started by creating a new file, uploading an existing file. So I could just click existing, uploading an existing file, and it'll ask me to upload. Um, yeah, I guess that this message will still be here as long as my Git repository is empty. Anytime I click code, if I navigate to one of these other tabs, click on code, it will still see this. So until I actually upload something, we're going to see this message. So I'm going to click upload an existing file, and then we'll upload our files here. The thing is with this, drag files here to add them to your repository, we can go here and you gotta decide, are you gonna have a repository for each project you work on, each assignment in this class, or do you want one repository for all your assignments? I think one repository for all the assignments is probably a better idea, just so we don't have a bunch of different repositories, and it'll just be like one place where we can go to check out all your assignments. But that means you're gonna have to set up your local repository a different way. Like right now, I've got a WST154 folder, but this one itself is not a Git repository. I've specifically gone into intro and made this a Git repository, so I've kind of set it up so just the first assignment is its own repository. But I could also go here to the 154 folder in case I want to make one repository for all of them. I could, come here with git bash or command prompt. So git bash. I could just do a git init here and make this a Git repository. But then I don't know if it's a good idea to have a Git repository with another Git repository in it. Now this whole thing is a Git repository. Well, I could just delete this one. I'll do both. I'll do one where it's just a project. You cancel. Actually, no, let's continue with this. So this is that second test repository. This one, if we're just gonna do this without actually using the git commands, you could just drag your files here. I'm gonna do. Oh, we didn't even have to initialize the repository. This is only if you're gonna be using the git commands. But if you're just gonna upload your files here, you could just, let's say I want to do object and arrays. What do we even do for this one? Oh yeah, I forgot. We did this grocery list. Eggs, milk. Okay, let's add this to GitHub. So I'm gonna just drag objects and arrays. I'm gonna drag it without the folder though, because later when we do the thing where we click settings and then set up GitHub pages, remember it asks when you're doing this deploy from branch, it asks you to pick a branch. Right now I don't have any. I should probably create one first. We first have to upload something, so let me just upload a few files. I'm gonna upload what's inside objects and arrays, so app.js and index.html. Just upload that. We need to do a commit, so just type initial commit, just a message for what this commit is about. Okay, now going back to settings and pages, deploy from branch, choose main, and then here it says root. So actually I don't know if this is related to that exactly. It says root and then docs. I don't know, this might be something else, but whenever we click the link that it generates, it's gonna take us to directly to this repository, directly to this folder that has app.js and index.html. That means, when you have a website, you visit the link to the website, it's gonna automatically look for index.html and open that. So that's why I uploaded this instead of this, because if I uploaded this, then there would be no index.html on the surface. You would have to go into the objects and arrays folder, and then you would see the index.html, and that would cause the website not to work right away when you click the link. I would have to type / objects and arrays to actually see the index file. So that's why if you're gonna do a single project for if you're gonna do a repository for each project, make sure you upload the contents of your project to GitHub and not the folder itself. But even if you do it the other way, it's okay. Like I said, you could just type / the name of the folder and then it'll work that way. Just have to modify the link that you send me. Anyway, let's go to settings, pages, main, save. Your GitHub pages is currently being built. Refresh. Still not ready. Just wait like 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Still not ready. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Another 10 seconds. There it is. Site is live at there. So we click here, we could see our grocery list. Okay. And anytime you want to get that link, go to settings, pages, and you'll see it there. Okay, so I'll go through the steps one more time because this is how I want you guys to submit your project, okay? If you're in 154, you don't need to install Git and run all those commands, but you can if you want. If you want to do it that way, upload it to GitHub that way, you can, but it's just easier since you're not gonna really be doing anything other than hosting on GitHub pages, so I could just click the link and see your project. Since you're just gonna be doing that, just all you need to do is click new, create a repository for, let's just do one for all of our projects. I'll do WST154. It already exists. Let me go back and delete that one. Go to settings, delete this repository. Let's delete this one too. Oh, it still says 5, but I'm only counting 4 here. Okay, an update now, it says 4. Okay, so one more time. For all of our let's do one repository for all assignments because it's more efficient that way. So make sure first of all on your computer you have a folder for WST154. If you're in 155, you have a folder for 155. I'm just gonna do this example for 154. So we got the intro. Let's call this assignment 1. I gotta close VS Code. Let's call objects and arrays assignment 2. This VS Code folder is just, your VS Code local settings and stuff. Because there's a lot of stuff you could change in VS Code. And the settings.json file controls those settings. And right now it looks like live server port is the only thing it's saved. It's 5501. You could delete this. This is a Git project because I did Git init. That's why there's this hidden folder, but ignore it because we're not going to be using Git commands for this project. We're doing this the easy way, okay? 154, assignment 1 and 2. We're gonna do one extra thing here we need. Gonna need to create a folder, a file, an HTML file that will link to intro.html and index.html. I'm gonna rename this intro to just index.html. Rename all your HTML files to index.html. Okay, assignment 1, assignment 2. So what's gonna happen, I'm gonna make a page on GitHub Pages that when we click the link, it's gonna show me a list of all my assignments. And when I click on the assignment, it's gonna open up the index.html file, and then I'm gonna be able to look at your assignment just by clicking, visiting your assignments list. That way I don't have to download anything, and you don't have to upload anything to Google Classroom. You just give me the link to your repository. Okay, and this is how we're gonna do it. We need to create another file here, so let's do it in VS Code. It's just gonna be a very basic file. You can update it later if you want, but right now just here the same WST154 folder where all of your other projects are gonna be listed. I want you to create a new index.html exclamation tab. Could give this an h1. Call this WST154 assignments. Actually, let's put the date, or the month at least, April 2025. WST154. Just that, okay? And then we can list all of our projects. I'll do an unordered list. UL means unordered list, and I'm just gonna say these things for the people that are new to HTML because I know there's few of you. Exclamation tab gets you all of this stuff. Then inside the body we're just adding an h1, a heading level 1, a heading level 2, and an unordered list. And this unordered list is gonna be the links to all my projects. So we want to link to assignment 1. Links are done with the A tag. Between the A opening and closing tag is the link text. I could say assignment 1. The A tag needs an href attribute to tell it which file to go to or URL to go to. In this case, we want to go to the folder assignment 1 and then index.html, but you could just put the folder name, and when you visit the link, anything named index.html is going to automatically be the file that it opens. So you could just put href equals / assignment 1. Do the same thing for the second assignment. Save that and test it here real quick before you upload it. Click assignment 1, we can see this assignment. Click assignment 2, I can see the grocery list. Although I don't think I officially assigned that as a assignment, but don't worry about it. Just if you have only assignment 1, you can use that, or if you have no assignments, just at least create this page without the unordered list, or just put some dummy stuff here. We'll update it later if you need to. Okay, if you have no assignments yet, do this anyway. You'll add them later. And then all we need to do is upload this to GitHub. So I'll go to GitHub again. Let me see where I had that. Probably not this tab. Here it is. Okay, so I'm going to create a new repository for all my WST154 projects. Call it WST154 April 2025. WST154 projects will be the description. Create repository. Make sure it's public. And I'm going to click upload an existing file. Then we're going to go to this folder. I'll right click and say reveal in file explorer. So just opens my explorer here. And these are the files I'm going to add. Assignment 1, 2, and index.html. Call this initial commit. Commit changes. Cool, now they're all uploaded just like this. Now we go to settings, pages, and where it says branch none, change this to main, save it. Give it a few seconds. Sometimes it works faster, sometimes it takes a minute. Come on. There it is. Click on that. There we could see the same thing. Assignment 1, assignment 2. This time it's available on the internet. That's all you need to do. So that's how I want you guys to submit all projects. Create a GitHub repository for all your 154 or 155 projects and have an index page to be able to click on and link to each project. This isn't working because I double clicked it. Doesn't work that way. I double clicked here. For some reason, yeah, it doesn't work that way. Oh, well, because you have to actually explicitly select which file you want to open. But if you do it through VS Code or do it through GitHub, it should just open it. Anyway, I don't know, I hope that's simple enough to follow. Create your GitHub repository, upload all your projects into that folder and include like an index.html. Now we can link to all the other projects. Basically just make sure your main file in the project has an index.html, and then when we click the link, it will just take us to that folder and automatically open the index.html. Okay, try it out and then let me know if you have questions for 154 people. You have any questions right now? No? Okay, so I'll give you guys time to try that. For your second assignment in WST154, I do want you to try this, what we did last time, the grocery list. I didn't have time to make this fancier, make it something other than a grocery list. So that's what we'll be doing. But the fancy stuff is figuring out how to upload this to GitHub, okay? So I'll try to put instructions also, so in case the video is too long and um, instructions are not clear, I'll try to clarify in the Google Classroom. Okay, now switching to 155, you're gonna do the same thing, but I want you to use the git commands to do it. We have a few things in this WST155 folder: ball bounce, fetch, movies. Movies is new. I didn't really go over this, but I was planning on doing this today, but we didn't really have time. Basically creating a way to add some movies. We'll do this next class. And copy a little description of a movie. Put in an image URL. That's not an image URL. That is copy image link. Paste it in here. Rating. I meant rating to be like rated R or PG-13, but anyway, let's rate it. I don't know, 9 out of 10. Categories: action, adventure, sci-fi. The release date, pretty sure it was 95, no, 93. Just put 93. Although this is taking in a month, day, and year, I'll just put 1993. Oops. Maybe it has a specific release date. June 9, 1993. You could also click the calendar and bring that up. Oh, wait, June. I meant June. Click add movie. Cool, and it's there. But we'll do it a little bit nicer. This is just a quick one. Um, the cool thing about this is if I close this and open it again, it's still there until I delete it because it's saving this in local storage. Go to storage, local storage. You can see here I've saved movies. Got a movies list. The first object in there is Jurassic Park. We got the description, image, rating. All that information got saved in my local storage. So it'll be there until I like delete history and all that. Cool. Anyways, I want you guys to, for now, upload your first project, and well, fetch would be. We had two projects already, right? We had the Node.js server I wanted you to create, so that should be included, and then the fetch, and then your third assignment is just adding it to GitHub using the git commands. I'll delete the movies thing so we don't get confused by that, and ball bounce, we'll delete that. That was from last session, so right now it's just fetch, and then let's do an open VS Code here again and redo the server thing because I deleted it. We got fetch, we got server. Let's also add a index.html. I also want to make one single repository for all our projects, so that's why I'm adding an index.html here. This is gonna link to all of our projects. So add an h1 in there. Oops. Why is it capital H1? WST155. Again, let's do April 2025. WST155. H2 projects. UL. What are all these suggestions? Where is it getting this from? Anyway, that's not what we're gonna put there. So the first one is fetch. So href equals dot/fetch. One thing though, yeah, fetch was gonna have an index.html, so that's fine. We can go to index.html by just going into that folder. Call this fetch. Oh, this was assignment 2. Need another one for the server. So href for the server. This one's gonna be a little bit different since server is not really a front end project. We're creating a server and testing it. I guess I don't know. We'll figure out. Let me just create a new server and see how we could test that on GitHub. Okay, so I would might not be able to do it because GitHub doesn't really do servers. I don't think it doesn't do Node. Maybe it does. I'm not sure. Let me double check. Let's ask ChatGPT. ChatGPT. Can GitHub pages host Node.js files like a server? GitHub pages static hosting service, which means it can only serve static content like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and images. It cannot host dynamic content that requires a server-side environment such as Node.js. So yeah, we can't do it. It says, however, there are some alternatives and workarounds if you want to use Node.js or any backend functionality with a GitHub Pages site. Use separate backend service like Heroku, DigitalOcean, AWS, and have GitHub Pages serve the front end. You can then connect to the front. Seems like it's going to be a little bit complicated. I'll probably maybe use Heroku. I think I used that in the past. I have to figure out how to use that again. But we could do a backend, the Node.js stuff, the server that we create. We could put that on Heroku. So the thing is, Node.js has to run on something that supports it. GitHub Pages doesn't support that. It won't serve things to you by visiting some GitHub Pages link. It's not gonna let you do the fetching and stuff. So we'll use Heroku to do that, and then we could host the front end on GitHub Pages. Anyways, sounds like we can't really do that yet, but you can upload the files at least, and then I don't know, at least if you share your repository with me, I could see what you uploaded to your GitHub Pages or your GitHub. So What should we do with assignment 1? The server. We'll just, I don't know, link to an index.html in there. /server. Just put server for now. I don't know, we'll figure it out later. Okay. This is now your third assignment, I think. Right? I want to keep it even though. As for WST154, we only had one assignment, or no, we had three there too. Okay, this makes sense. For the other class, we had the short story with variables project, and then we had the grocery list. So that's two, and this will be the two for you guys. And the third project is basically figuring out how to upload it to GitHub. Not really a project, but everyone should do this. Okay. So just put a link to server just for the heck of it, even though it's not gonna lead to anything. At least we'll check if assignment 2 works, because that one is a front end. It should fetch whatever you decided to fetch and display it on the screen. And yeah, that's it for the index.html file. That's pretty much the same thing I did for 154. That's what I asked them to do. Create a main folder for all your projects and have an index.html in the main directory that we can reach whenever we click the GitHub pages link. And then when we reach that index.html, it'll list all your projects. Okay, we'll just have to figure out later what to do with the backend project, the server, which probably would be the only backend thing we do. But okay, the only difference is for you guys, I want you to use the GitHub commands to do everything. So you're gonna need to first do git init. Make sure the current directory is your 155 folder. So over here it says right now I'm in this folder, WST155. I'm not in the fetch project or the server project specifically. I'm in the main 155 folder. I'm going to do a git init. Okay, we've initialized the git repository. We're going to do git add space period to add all my files. You could also click the plus button here for the stage changes, and then they'll become staged changes. And we're going to do git commit -m. We're going to say initial commit. I'm going to press enter. So that takes a snapshot of our project at this stage, and the message for that is initial commit. It's our first time saving. And then you're going to do git remote add origin and then you're gonna go to your GitHub, make sure you have a repository for this new project or all your projects here. I'm gonna say new repository. Click here, new repository, little drop down or the plus sign, or click repositories and then click new. Call this April 2025 WST155. Okay, WST155 projects. I'm gonna make this public. Click create. You still have to do all this through the user interface on GitHub, by the way. There's no way to create your repository through GitHub, through the terminal. Anyway, create your repository. You'll get the instructions here, what to do. We're already at git remote at origin. I already did git init. I didn't do the readme or echo readme part, but I did do the git commit first commit. I didn't do this part. We don't need to do that. So this is what we need to do here. Git remote at origin, and the URL is this. Is also going to be up here. You can just click the copy button here. Git remote at origin, paste that in there. Press enter. Okay, git remote -v to double check if it actually did. And you should see your repository link there. Then you can do git push -u. You only have to do the -u and the origin main one time. Right now, wait, this is called master. This is why I hate that they do this renaming thing. Yeah, it's gonna be called master, not main. Okay. I didn't rename it, so git push -u origin master. What is it saying? Error source master does not match any. Oh, when you create a repository through GitHub's user interface, it automatically names it main. So I have it called master here, and I have it called main over there. Let's try git push -u origin main. Oh, it says it does not match any. I guess I have to do the renaming stuff. Git remote what was the renaming command? Git branch -m main. Git branch -m main. Let's see if that fixes it. See, now instead of master, it's going to be called main, and then we can do git push -u origin main. Oh, okay, still not working. Why is that? Let me refresh this. Copy this. Make sure I did copy this, did I not? Yeah, 2025 WST155. Already exists. Origin already exists. It makes no sense. Go to my repositories. What's going on? Oh, did I not do a commit? Why is it saying commit here? We don't have a initial commit yet. Did I forget to commit? Hmm. Oh, well, that's weird. How come? Oh, I guess when I did that unsetting stuff, it broke something. But no, why would that affect anything? Git remote dash v git remote. Um, where was the thing that I did that I deleted my username? But I don't know if that's the issue. Git commit dash m initial commit. Oh, author identity unknown. Please tell me who you are. Okay, that's why it's not working. We need to do this git config and then tell it who I am. Git config dash dash global user dot email davidcas.apc@gmail.com. Put that in. I think that has to be in quotes. Git config dash dash global user dot name your name David. Enter. Oh, I put got git. Okay, now let's try git commit dash m initial commit. Why is it still saying this? Okay, I guess I didn't, when I did the global user dot email, I forgot to put a space here, so that's why it wasn't working. I'm not sure if you'll have to do this. It's just earlier I was trying to um, clear my environment variable, the thing where uh, I mean the credential manager, this thing that saves your username and stuff. I was trying to do it through the command line, so I did, I deleted my Git username and email so it was asking me to set it. I'm not sure if it's your first time doing it, if it'll ask you to you set up your username and stuff. Probably not, because that's the first time I've seen that. And it was probably because I did that command where I unset it. Anyway, let's see if it works now. Git push dash u origin main done. Refresh. Okay, so I just had a little issue because I unset my username and stuff. But I don't think you guys will have that issue if you didn't do all that. It should just work after you do the set origin main or master, whichever name you chose, and then you do your add and your commit. Then you do git push dash u origin main or master, and then it should work. Might ask you to log in through GitHub first, set up your username and all that. Yeah, my problem is I tried to do what this forum was saying, which was git config dash dash global unset all. So that caused that issue where it didn't know my username and all that because I had unset it. Anyway, once you do that, um, you'll have the same result as the 154 class. Your project should be uploaded to GitHub, and I should be able to see index.html and your project. In this case, it didn't upload server because it was an empty folder, so we only see the fetch folder. If we go to settings, settings pages, choose our main branch here and click save. And then again, wait like 30 seconds or a minute for that to deploy. But one additional thing I want the 155 students to try is updating and committing more changes and pushing them, and also I don't know, figure out a way where we could maybe try collaborating on a single project. But I don't know, it'll be kind of difficult because I would have to figure out a project that we could everyone in the 154 class can contribute to, and then see if you're able to pull other people's changes. Let's refresh. There it is. So we got the server assignment, but there's nothing there, so we're gonna get not found. But there's the fetch project. Fetch data. Should get our Dragon Ball Z characters. Okay, but yeah, try something like try making changes after you've done the commit and pushed it. Try maybe adding some styles. Like maybe I'll go here and create a new folder called CSS. And inside that I'll create a styles.css. Or yeah, let's just do styles.css. And then link to that. What is this? Okay, just simple style sheet. rel equals style sheet href equals css / styles.css. Type, if you want to include the type. And then let's go to styles.css, and what can we do? Make this look nicer. How about let's just change the background color. Okay, I'll say body background color. Just pick like a yellow color. Save that. Let's also maybe here let's add some other changes just so we can see what that looks like when you make changes. So I'm gonna create let's create a main and add everything inside main, and then here we can say main display flex, justify content center, justify align item center, height 100 nah, I'm gonna do main width, let's say like 600 pixels, max width 100%, margin auto, and why don't we do body, let's add a container, div dot container, oops, not like that, div dot container, create a div with a class of containers, stick main in there, and then let's say or dot container, display flex, justify content center, line item center, height 100 VH. So we center everything vertically and stuff, and it'll look like this. Let's also do text align center here. And then what else? The UL can be width of 400 pixels. Okay, 300 pixels, 200 pixels. Let's do 200 and margin auto. Just to center that. Anyways, that's enough. It's 9:45 almost, so let me just show you the next part. So after you make your changes, you want to see them updated in your Git repository. Right now it's not updated. It's still showing me the old one with the white background. So to get that updated, you have to then, you see here, if you click here in the version control or the source control place, you're going to see that now you have changes. If you click on the changes, it'll show you what exactly you changed. Plus plus green means we added these lines. We didn't have them before. Also shows that we added a new styles.css file. So you can either click the plus sign there or get add all again. Stage changes now updated to show that these changes are staged. Then we do git commit -m, and what do? We added some styles to the main page. Cool. Now we can either click sync changes or just do git push. Remember we the first time we did git push we had to use the -u origin main, but the -u basically just saved some of those settings, so all we have to do is git push. Okay, and it successfully pushed it. It's not going to update right away probably because it takes time. Also, you might need to clear your cache, but eventually it will update. If you look at your GitHub pages, going back, you go back here to the repository, you can check if it actually uploaded. See, now we have a CSS folder. Wait, sorry, am I in the right place? Yeah, now we have a CSS with the styles, and then there's that stuff I just added. It's just the GitHub pages takes a little bit to update, so you'll see this change eventually. Just there it is. Takes a few seconds, but it gets updated. Okay. So all of your projects, you'll try to get used to using Git to manage it, and then if you worked on an assignment, you want to update it, you can just update it with Git, and then the link that you shared with me, I'll just be able to see the updated changes, so you don't have to like re-upload stuff. Okay, that's all for today. So both classes, you know what to do, hopefully. WST154 assignment 2, create a groceries list that can be updated with a form input with an input, I should say, with an input, a text input. I've already uploaded objects and arrays, which basically does that for you. So your job is just going to be to make that look nicer or come up with your own thing instead of a groceries list. Save that. Oh, and let me also add that you should create a GitHub account create a folder for all WST154 projects. Create a repository, and this is going to take a while, so I'll update it later. Why don't I just give you the sign out code, and any questions? I'm going to stop recording at this point.